I'm making a 2D game, he's making a 3D game, and we're going to answer a few questions. What is your main inspiration as a game designer?
All my favorite games are like Skyrim, Minecraft, Sly Cooper. Those are my old favorite games. Yeah, I just wanted a game where you could have open exploration, things like that. So just wanted to put it all together from all those games, very many aspects like that. And yeah, just games that I had played in the past is really my inspiration. All right, so what is your inspiration for your game?
I would say, like, when it comes to game design, my inspiration comes to the fact that game design is the most pure form of creative expression you can get. You know, you have a painting, you can appreciate it by looking at it. With music, you can appreciate it by listening to it. But with game design, everyone has their own creative, unique experience with video games, and they have history and memories regarding it. So for me, it's the most interactive form of storytelling that you can do.
So what is your favorite thing about game design?
So my favorite thing about game design, or at least my favorite part of game design, is level design. You know, I love the journey of like where the player starts, where the player ends, and the journey the player has to go to get there. I like seeing what obstacles the player might have to do, if there's more than one way to do it. I just think that kind of thing is so cool to me. But yeah, what about you? I'm curious.
You had a really good point about level design. I think that's actually my favorite part too. So my game's all procedural, so I actually get to do that in a procedural way. So basically, like, you can find just pretty much anything, and I think that the actual exploration of the game, that's my favorite part of it. So definitely just the level design is going to be my favorite part too.
Good answer. Okay, so yeah, I know you're working on a 3D game. So for you, what would be the biggest difference between working on a 3D game versus working on a 2D game?
Obviously, there's another dimension there.
Yeah.
Well, really, it's just the way that the story can be told. I mean, 3D, of course, you know, you're going to be able to go anywhere you want, pretty much, up, down, left, right. I can't say diagonally to you because it's different, but you know, 2D games, you can get a solid flow between the music, the level design, the how the characters look, things like that. I mean, you know, 3D games, you have I guess you have a little bit more leeway of the design because, you know, there's going to be, again, there's a whole other dimension that players are going to be exploring. You can go around things, you know, you can put little Easter eggs in places where people be curious, things like that. I mean, yeah, of course you can do all that stuff with 2D games as well. It's just, you know, it's just a different way of thinking for, really, it's just the project, because you can do all the same stuff. It's just, you know, another dimension to work with.
Okay, so for me, the biggest difference between designing a 2D game and a 3D game is with the 3D game, you know, you have to pay attention of where the player looks. Because like you said, you know, you can go around and there's a lot more free exploration in that regard. With the 2D game, it's more about the composition of where the player is on the screen and what else the player can see on the screen and how you want to convey that information through the level design and also the movement.
All right, so what is your best advice for new game developers?
Ultimately, if you're a new game designer, making a game solo requires a bunch of different skills. It requires programming, art, you know, level design, music production, and that kind of stuff. And it really just comes down to when you're starting, you know, what skills do you have and what skills do you not have. And it's for the skills that you don't have that you might want to spend a little more time focusing on learning those things, because in the long run, if you work with more people, like let's say you're a programmer and you work with an artist, you're going to want to be able to communicate those ideas better because you'll better understand those things, and vice versa. So what do you think would be the best advice that you would give for those that want to start games, like making games on their own?
You need to find your weaknesses and you need to improve those. So I'll tie this in by saying, so it depends on what engine and stuff that you decide to go with. If you actually end up buying assets and getting plugins and things, just make sure that those things have good support and good documentation. That's the main thing that I have come into that's been a problem. Just make sure that you can get good assets, make sure they're not stolen. That's happened to people, it's happened to studios in the past. Just make sure that all the stuff that you use is, you know, free to use, or it will match what you need for the game, because there's going to be different purposes and things, so you'll just have to make sure that that's what you use them for.
So if that was insightful, you should check out my game Chiaroscuro on Steam. The first 2 chapters of it are completely free to play, so go check that out. It's like 2 to 3 hours of gameplay.
Well, if you're interested in my game Windhelm, open world procedurally generated RPG, you can go check it out on Steam. It's wishlistable, and I'll have a demo out soon for it.